you go through and kind of collect treasures as you're going through. Like if you remember Sonic collecting the rings, it kind of feels like that. We've got like 10 treasures going down like a path, collecting a bunch of treasures. You have to collect them while you're killing enemies. So avoiding the enemies will collect the treasures. We also have Marked Man, which is kind of a variant on survival. You're killing a particular target, and so the target's kind of flanked by a bunch of enemies, and so it's really difficult.
So it's not just the one guy out there. So you have to find the one marked guy in and around everybody else.
Well, there's multiple marked guys, but you have to defeat them. You can't just defeat anyone. You got to focus on those, and they're like the big armored guys and stuff. So pretty tough.
Yeah.
And with the boss waves, which are kind of our most favorite objective, because it showcases our pirates.
Oh, from 4.
Yeah,
oh,
like
nice.
the Henry Avery and Adam Baldridge.
So are they ghost pirates, like zombie pirates?
Yeah, they're like ghost pirates. Yeah,
Okay.
we give them the mystical abilities you see in the multiplayer, like the Wrath of El Dorado, and we have one that's focused on the teleport mystical that we have. And so we try to make them a little bit more fantastical, a little bit more exciting. And we think they turn out pretty well, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, you get to co-op with either up to 2 of your own friends, so 3 of you guys can play all together. Or if you don't have any friends, that's totally cool. We've taken care of you. And you can play with an AI character.
Yeah, exactly. So we want it to be accessible solo as well, which is something we haven't done in our previous games. We understand that there's a large segment of players who don't have PlayStation Plus who would still love to play this co-op mode, survival. So we gave them the opportunity to play solo with a buddy. And the buddy revives you. He feels like a real player in a lot of ways. He's very competent. He can take down enemies. You can do synced melee moves. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But it's also dynamic in the sense that people can drop in and out as they want. So say you're starting up a match, you're hosting a match, you start off with a buddy, but people can join in at any time and replace that buddy with a real player.
Oh, that's really different. That's not a lot of what you see usually.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty unique feature, I think. It'll make the mode a lot more seamless and a lot easier to play with your friends. Say your friend can only hop in for a couple of waves, they can drop in the middle of the match and then drop back out if they need to. Like, it's
awesome.
really flexible.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, talk to me a little about leveling up your character as you go through the waves.
Right. So this is another thing we want to bring kind of as kind of one of our pillars of longevity. We want this to be ultimately replayable. So we added a leveling system, kind of like what we call an RPG light system. So the character actually gains health and damage as they level up, and they'll become better and better at the waves. So if you're having trouble with the wave, you level up and you'll get better and better. It'll be easier.
Cool. Now, I'm looking over here at some of the gameplay footage that we're looking at here, and you can see where like you have your team, you're gaining money. What can you use to spend that money on?
Yes. So this is a kind of a function we added to the multiplayer, which was the in-game store. We have a semblance of that here with the arsenal. So you gain cash as you kill enemies, and you can use this cash at the arsenal. See those 3 green icons on the radar? Those are the arsenal. They're accessible at any time. We also give you 30 seconds of intermission in between waves to use it kind of more
to catch
leisure.
Your breath?
Yeah, because it gets pretty intense. So you go to the arsenal, you can buy a number of different things. You can buy gear, you can buy mysticals, you can buy weapons, and you can also refill your ammo.
Okay.
And so sort of depending on the wave, there's different strategies. So here's the arsenal right here. You see this person's buying the grenade. Gear in particular is really useful. Buying grenades is one of the best kind of grenade gear you can buy. It's really useful. But in addition to that, you can buy weapons, and for different waves, different weapons are more powerful. So like the mode, the siege mode I was talking about, where you're fighting from a particular location, the enemies are usually pretty far off. So you want sniper rifles, you want the Metler, which is a single shot scoped weapon, which is a lot more effective than kind of a close range weapon. But then for other waves where you're doing survival, you want to mow down enemies as you're running through, like an automatic weapon makes a lot of sense.
What weapons take down the ghost pirates?
Oh yes, so every boss has some sort of strategy to them. So we wanted the bosses to be a little bit more than just a sack of potatoes, like you're just shooting them a bunch. We wanted there to be some strategy to it. So one of the first bosses that we showcased here at PSX is the Jinn Warlord, and the best way to defeat him is fight fire with fire. So he's a fire boss, but if you shoot explosives at him, he'll go down.
Oh.
When he's down, he takes I think 4 times damage, and he's just sitting there, so you can like wail into him. And he'll come back out of it. So the strategy is to get the grenade launcher off of his minions, use the grenade launcher to hit him, and then shoot him.
There, see, we're giving you tips on how to play the game right here on live stream. That's awesome.
And then that's the other function of the arsenal is you can go to the arsenal and buy the grenade launcher instead if you need to. So we think it's kind of an interesting, flexible system. It allows for a lot of strategy. People learn these waves. The waves are kind of like they're set. The reason for that is we wanted people to be able to learn the strategy and be able to master it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's true. Like you were saying about replayability, is I'm sure that as you've played through the game multiple times, you start to realize these kinds of strategies and like what works for you in this one, and you're like, oh, when I play the next wave, that's totally not going to work at all, and you have
exactly,
to change how you play.
Yeah, and I mean, this also comes back to the team element. People start to learn. I mean, in the office as we've been playing, we've learned certain strategy for certain waves. Like, okay, I'll hold up in this spot. You watch this direction. I watch this direction, and like we love the team element that comes from our multiplayer. Competitive multiplayer is very team-based. We want to have that same kind of DNA in the co-op. So we want co-op to feel very team-based as well.
Very cool.
This way we have the down system, and you can revive your teammates. So there's those last stands you get before you all die, right? So like, it's really exciting. This is the Jin Warlord I was just talking about. This is our boss wave. We have a nice intro cinematic, and it's a really intense battle. Speaking more to longevity, actually, so mastering the waves, we have the star rating system you see in the top left over the radar. There's those 3 stars. We've set up the system where basically to earn stars, you need to get a certain amount of time. You need to beat the stage a certain amount of time. And so to get 3 stars is really tough, and we designed the time limit to be like something you have to like learn the waves and do really good at it. So.
Yeah, and again, that just adds to more of the replayability of it, because I know every time when I'm like, I only got 2 stars, well, I got to go play that again now because I want all 3.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, we tied some pretty cool rewards to the star system. So we have these skeleton skins, which is a throwback to Uncharted 3. Uncharted 3 co-op, we had skeleton skins as well, and people played the co-op just to earn those skins. And so they're basically like Drake, Elena, a couple of our characters in skeleton form.
Oh, cool.
And it's pretty cool.
What is all this blue stuff that's flying around the screen here?
Oh, yeah.
Go past that.
So
right there.
So these blue things, these are the heavy weapons. So some enemies that you kill will drop heavy weapons, and they kind of float. They look a little more special. And like I was seeing, sort of in this boss wave, you have to find the grenade launcher, right? So the grenade launcher is one of those blue weapons to take down the boss. Here you're seeing a weapon drop. So we have loot in the game, kind of a semblance of loot. Bosses drop unique weapon levels. So as you level up, you also gain access to more weapons. The weapons start off at level 1. And there's 5 levels to each weapon. So as you defeat bosses, they'll drop a new level of weapon you've never unlocked before. And it'll upgrade your weapons. So in addition to your player level increasing, your weapon levels also increase.
That's very cool. So does each of the different waves take place in a different location from the actual game itself? Or is it kind of inspired by?
They're all inspired by. So this is the prison map, for example. The prison map is based on one of the early levels from Uncharted 4 when you're in the prison as Drake. And so all the maps are sort of inspired by, but they're not like direct copies. We kind of re-engineered them for multiplayer.
If we could not do that tower one, where I have to defeat everybody and be all stealth, I would really appreciate that.
I'm pretty sure that's not in there, so I think you're okay. The cool thing about the maps, and people respond to this, particularly with the prison map, is that each map feels really different. So the prison map is really close quarters. It's got a lot of 90-degree angles. You have a lot of these, like, come across a corner, and the guy's got a shotgun. You're like, oh, crap. So, I think that was one of the big wins we got here with the 5 waves and each the transitioning between maps is that every map has its own feel. It feels really fresh, which is, I think, a big win. People like that. It keeps it feeling varied.
Yeah. Well, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Very excited to play it. I know a lot of Uncharted fans are always excited for more Uncharted. However we can get our hands on more Uncharted, that's it. We'll take everything we can get. So thank you so much for joining us here today.
Absolutely. And this will be available this month for free.
This month for free?
Yeah.
Look at that. That's awesome. Okay, so later this month?
Yes.
All right, later this month. Check out the PlayStation blog. I'm sure they will be the first ones to let you know exactly when later this month. Vinit, thank you so much for joining with us.
Thank you, Meredith.
Stick with us. We've got a lot more here on the PlayStation Experience.